Alright, this is going to be a video on how to treat your fish for ick using Herbtana, as well as some activated carbon. This is premium grade stuff here to get rid of it at the end. I am not paid by anybody to make this or getting any ads or anything for this. I'm just trying to help y'all. So my crayon angel had ick, and he is up in here. There he is. And little white spots from the pet store. I did not realize what it was until he had it. So basically I had to put him in my quarantine tank with just fresh water, believe it or not, from the tap, because the tap water here has enough of the minerals in it for us to be able to do that. But you might want to test, and you might have to add something else. But the guy who was helping me told me to try to not put too much stuff in the water with the fish if possible. I did put a little bit of ick treatment, and that looks like this in here. Excuse my mess. Let me find it in here. Here it is. I used a little bit of ick. I don't even know if I used all that it said, just a little bit. And dipped the guy in my quarantine tank here in like fresh water with that. And then had to treat the whole tank with this Herbtana. And basically just follow the instructions in the back of this. Sorry, you can't read it too bad here, but you can read it. And it's like a 10-day treatment. So as you can imagine, after 10 days of this stuff, this tank was so full of it. You're actually supposed to turn off your skimmer here when you are treating the tank. So do not use a skimmer during Herbtana. And by the way, this stuff makes your water bubble up like freaking crazy. So a lot of people complain about not being able to run your protein skimmer after, and some people even throw this guy out after because it's just everywhere in the water. So after, I have my little log here, after my 10 days of ick treatment, you can see my log here. Basically, they recommend doing some 20, excuse my focus here, about 20% water change. You don't have to read all my notes, but basically for about 2 months, I did some 20% water changes, actually 3 months here. That was not good enough, so I had to go to some more drastic measures. So here I started adding, I couldn't run my protein skimmer still, so we're going on like, this took me 4 months, so basically by like a month, I decided to find out what else I could do to run my protein skimmer, and this is what I found. So this is a little bit more expensive, but it is pharmaceutical grade, ROX 0.8. I got it in the website for Premium Aquatics. They sell a lot of really nice products for reef tanks, and you get points the more stuff you buy. You know, basically pays for shipping and maybe some other stuff you get a lot. But basically this, you just follow it, 1 tablespoon for 10 US gallons. And what I did was, this was another learning thing. After I cleaned the water, changed the water from the tanks and add the new filter socks, I tried rinsing this stuff in these socks into buckets, but it was like coming out and going all over in the water and on the outsides of the socks, and I had to like basically brush the carbon off the outsides of the socks, which was actually kind of easy to do, but then it was still kind of messy. So then what I started doing was adding the carbon directly to the socks after I put the socks in. And for this, since it's a 90 gallon, you know, I want about 1 tablespoon per 10 gallons. I am doing 9 tablespoons of this stuff, and I just split it between 3 socks to make it equal, you know, and did 3 tablespoons in each of the socks before I turn the water on. And then I turn the water on, as you can see. These can go up to 2 weeks, and then they really recommend taking it out, or the stuff all built up in there can get really nasty and it's not good, and it just builds up in there. So I change the water once a week anyway, so I just change out that in there. But let me tell you, after 2 weeks of using stuff, after a month of changing water and not being able to turn on my protein skimmer, there it is, voila! After 7 weeks, after my 10 days of ick treatment, but 2 weeks after I started using this carbon, I was able to turn this puppy on. Now granted, there was a little bit too much foam up in here, but not like before where it was just like frothing everywhere and going everywhere in the water. So it was kind of going up to maybe here, but I could still run it. And now this is the third or fourth week now here of using carbon, and this guy's running like normal finally. So, you know, I'm just keeping it as low as possible here, and you're supposed to keep the foam up to here, but it's kind of funny looking with some bigger bubbles at the top, but I'm just going to leave it there. And last week I was able to run it like normal, and just a little bit was kind of coming up, and I just kind of kept emptying it from here, you know, as it came out. But I wanted to start running this, and this water was black. It was like really nasty. So so anyway, I'm gonna run the carbon a little bit more. I don't usually use carbon in this tank, but you know, it removes the organic whatever compound stuff in there, the crap basically, excuse my language, and removes this stuff, this Herbtana. It works, it cured my fish, but man, what a mess. So I do not ever want to have to do this again, but if I do, that's my story. And this guy's finally working. I do not have to throw it out, and I do not have to buy another expensive skimmer. So good luck, y'all. Put any questions in the comments, and I'm happy to answer them.